Hey everybody, John Lorden here with a special mini-scratch update on the Savanna Greywind case. I believe I called that episode What Happened in Apartment 5. I'll have a link to it in the description box below. You really want to watch that before you watch this update, or it's probably not going to make a lot of sense to you. The brief synopsis is Savanna Greywind was an expecting mother that was asked to come upstairs to another apartment to help some neighbors of hers. She then disappeared, was found a number of days later deceased, and all of a sudden these neighbors had a new baby. A truly terrible, terrible story. Before I give you the update on it, I want to give a big thank you to Kelly Stardust for shooting me this update on Twitter, and also give you guys a quick reminder that I will be off next week. On top of that, I'm trying to get another brain scratch out for you today. It might come out a little later in the day. I'm having some technical problems, but this will not be your only video for today, hopefully. A full brain scratch also coming. So with all that said, let's get to the update. And here we see the two neighbors, William Hone on the left and Brooklyn Cruz on the right. Brooklyn is the one that has come out and basically admitted that she did help in terms of killing Savanna. Jumping over to wday.com, we see a picture of a letter here that was sent. Basically, this reporter, Blake Gumprecht, was trying to reach out to Brooke to get her to tell her side of the story. He says that he had sent her a couple of letters, but she actually responded to this one. And it's a pretty interesting response. This is clearly someone that is recognizing that they did something truly awful, and they're going to have to pay the price for it. But let's take a look at what is discussed in this article. Brooklyn Cruz, who pleaded guilty last week to murdering Savanna LaFontaine Greywind and abducting her newborn daughter, said in a letter from the Cass County Jail, quote, "I am ashamed of what I've done," and that she intends to apologize to the victim's family in person at her sentencing. I believe her sentencing is happening in a couple weeks, right in the middle of January. Cruz declined the request to be interviewed and said if she were ever willing to talk, she would not do so until after the trial of co-defendant William Henry Hone, her live-in boyfriend at the time of their arrest. Like Cruz, Hone has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to commit kidnapping in the case. His trial is scheduled to begin March 20th. Considering that she is pleading guilty and he's pleading not guilty, it's going to be a pretty interesting trial in terms of him trying to get through this. I'm curious to hear what kind of testimony they're going to get from her. I'm pretty sure that they're going to wind up using her in court, possibly against him. I think it's probably going to go something like him saying that he had nothing to do with it. It was all her the whole time, and that she's the one that actually killed Savanna. But that's all speculation. I'm very curious to see how this is going to shake out. Responding to this reporter's offer to tell her story, Cruz replied, quote, "I do not feel that this is in any way my story. I don't think I'm entitled to be heard in any manner. My actions devastated a family and shocked the community that I called home." I'm definitely sensing some regret on her part here, which I think most of us are happy that there is, a tone of regret in all this. Also, in declining the interview request, Cruz said, "To be sure, I've personally got a story, and certainly that story influenced my ability to control impulses and make proper decisions, especially since 2014. A little bit of a convoluted message there she's not being very clear about, but the term that she had trouble controlling her impulses is really captivating to me. She does not indicate in the letter what happened in that year that impacted her so greatly, but that is apparently the year in which she began dating Hone. Now, we do know there's a little history there in terms of some potential physical abuse. If I recall correctly, he pushed her into a bathtub, and there was a no contact order for a while that he violated. So there might be some angle here where she was potentially being abused by him, and maybe she felt like she couldn't make her own decisions without paying for them in some way or something along those lines. But she's not being very clear in this letter here. There are many things that I'd like to say, but I'm ashamed of what I've done, Cruz wrote. Because of this shame and with a good amount of humility, I don't feel I have the right to say a damn thing, except I'm sorry. And really, I think that she can show us how sorry she is by being willing to participate in the trial, most likely against her. I don't know if they're still considering themselves together or not, but I'm going to say ex-boyfriend, and trying to set things right if that's really how she feels about all this. So once again, I'm very curious to see what happens around this trial, but we do have her pleading guilty and basically admitting that, yes, they did. And of course, she would admit it. I'm kind of shocked, honestly, that her boyfriend is even going down this path of pleading not guilty. After she gets her sentence, I'll be interested to see if he holds that position or if right before his trial date they do a flip and all of a sudden he decides to plead guilty for some type of lesser sentence or something along those lines. There has also been an update from People.com. They've released it. I think it was just released. Well, it'll be yesterday when you're seeing this. And it basically is talking about the challenges that Savanna's boyfriend has had rolling forward. She's in my dreams. How the boyfriend of Savanna Greywind is haunted by her death. 4 months after Savanna LaFontaine Greywind's killing, her longtime boyfriend and father of her only child remains haunted by her death. I have dreams of Savanna almost every night. Ashton Matheny, 22, tells People. I'm sure he does. It's a horrible thing to have something like that happen so close in your life. And he's got this constant reminder on a daily basis looking at this beautiful baby that, you know, they're both missing that baby's mother. Ashton says, I feel like I'm living in a nightmare. The article goes on. I'll have a link to it in the description box below so you can check it out. But basically, other family are saying Ashton's doing a great job. Took him a little while for him to get used to the routine of handling a baby, getting up in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. But something very important at the end is a link to a GoFundMe that they are raising specifically to benefit Hazley, Joe, and Ashton. And on behalf of myself and my PayPal and Patreon supporters, I will be making a donation to this GoFundMe just as soon as I'm done filming this video. So thank all of you out there for being a part of that and helping me do things like this, hopefully helping to make Hazley, Joe, and Ashton's life just a little bit easier as they deal with the loss of Savanna. That's the update for this mini-scratch. Like I mentioned, full brain scratch coming at some point today. Very interesting case. I hope you will check it out. And please keep in mind, I'm off next week, but we'll be back the following week. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy your New Year's celebration, and I'll see you back on actually New Year's Day. I think will be the first video back. Also keep in mind, on the 5th of January, live Q&A with the filmmakers from Breaking the Cycle. It's going to happen around noon, somewhere between noon and 12:15 Central Time US. So if you want to be part of that, set it in your calendar, set a reminder for yourself. Come join us in a very interesting conversation about the prison systems and possible reform in those systems. Take care, everyone. I'll see you back here on the Lord and Arts channel very soon.